Ed Draco here with Blue Screen Bronies of Everfree Network here. We have a game creator here, Matthew. He's Link to the Past Derpy mod.
Yeah, it's a Link to the Past modification of the Super NES game. Changed all of the sprites of the original animations of Link to derpy hooves.
Well, I don't know what went wrong, but it sounds like an interesting game because Link to the Past was a very memorable game. It's a lot of people's top 10 lists,
Right.
Very memorable music. Did you do anything else besides sprite editing, or is it mostly just that?
The program I was using, it was a decompiler for the game. Someone had completely decompiled the game, created an editor for it, and it allows for sprite editing pretty much of all the graphics in the game, except you have to decompress some of the graphics. Links were readily available, but the program also allows for text editing and music editing, but it's really tricky to do. And so one of the problems with the editor is back in the day, you only had a little bit of memory space for things. You couldn't just, expand your ROM very easily unless you had more of like a ROM chip on the actual sims that they put in there. It was very expensive for memory back then. And so what happened, I did start modding the dialogue in the game, and it started impinging upon other elements in the hex. So other parts of the hex code started getting messed up because the dialogue was going beyond where it was allotted in memory.
Well, with a lot of other games like Final Fantasy games, why Zelda Link to the Past? Why not Ocarina of Time or anything like that? Was it just because it was easier to do sprites for that?
At the time, I was still pretty new to it. Yes, number one, it was just a cool proof of concept. I knew it could be done. Ocarina of Time would be very tricky. You'd have to go in, you'd have to find out where all of Link's 3D modeling is in the game. I don't know if anybody's decompiled Ocarina of Time for the N64, but if they had, you could probably get a model, maybe even one of the Gmod models, turn down the polygon count a little bit, or maybe just do a little bit of edits to it so it's a lower polygon count, and then sort of replace that model with Link's. You have to get the bone. There's when you're doing 3D modeling, you get like a bone structure through the character, joints and whatnot that tell the polygons where to go. So if you could do that, and sort of all of Link's animations, if you could tie them into that, like so when Link runs, instead of just moving his legs, it moves all four hooves or something, you'd have to edit all of that, but it could be done. That's a little bit beyond my skill, but hey, for anybody out watching, Ocarina of Time, you should try it.
Sounds like a good idea. I mean, like Giant Moon, Princess Luna.
Yeah.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see more game mods coming out and more, I guess you could call it a ROM hack come out, because
Right.
we all know about Pony Fantasy 6 because Fee
Right.
and myself have played it. This one not so much because it's kind of
It was kind of
lower there.
That was the first Let's Play that Fee ever did. She's just like, oh, I want to give this guy more recognition. And at the time, I was really super busy. I was getting ready to move out of state and whatnot. And so I just wanted to get it done and out the door so people could play it. And I've been super busy ever since, so I didn't have a lot of time to go back and deal with it. But I think the reason it was kind of not necessarily swept under the rug, but wasn't as popular, is because the first version worked without any bugs. Animations for Link were just fine, but that second version, where I tried to edit the dialogue, that started messing the game up. Like, I don't know if maybe you'll recall from the game, the Armos Knights from the Eastern Palace. It's the green level. It's the first like actual level.
We don't talk about such things at all. At all.
But anyway, on the boss battle, when you get it down to the final Armos Knight and he starts, flying in the air and slamming down on the ground, when the dialogue was edited, it screwed up how much the screen shakes.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and so what happened is instead of shaking like maybe 10 pixels up, 10 pixels down, it was like 50. So it was like...
So the screen was gone.
It would go through the wall underneath because it was thinking that Derpy was in the room below it. And so when it stopped shaking, Link or Derpy would be down there, and then the game would bug out. Also, you couldn't pull the Master Sword out of the stone thing, and
That seems like a problem with the Zelda game.
Yeah.
But okay, so we're gonna break some.
The first version does work. The first version works. There's no problems. It's the original dialogue though, so Derpy's going to be called the boy and whatnot.
All right, so we're gonna expect some pot breaking, maybe some muffin finding.
If I can get back around to working more on the game, I know how to fix the problem now. I know how to go into Hex and deal with it, and someone actually told me where exactly it's located, because that actually was a known issue. I've since found out. So I could go back and fix it, but it's just a matter of time. I'm actually working on ActRaiser right now for the Super NES, and there was actually a video that I posted that Equestria Daily did link to, and that one seems like it might be a little easier to deal with just in the near term. I also modded a game last November for the NES called Solomon's Key. I don't know if you remember that game. It was a really famous arcade game from the 80s.
I wasn't too privileged.
Yeah. Well, it's a great game. Check it out, Solomon's Key for the NES. I modded it, I called it Trixie's Castle. And it came out just before the Magic Duel, the sort of the re-Magic Duel episode for Season 3. I was working really hard to get all the animations done just in time for that. And that game works fine, flawless, no bugs. And so...
Well, Matt, I thank you. I'm sorry we got to wrap this up real short here. And to TechRat, that sounds like your perfect game, and we miss you, TechRat. We really do. For EQI, oh wait, that's the wrong show. I mean, Blue Screen Bronies at Everfree Network. This is Draco. Thank you.